Step 1, setting clear goals for your videos. Let me tell you a story about Brian. Brian's a marketing director at like a mid-sized tech company, let's call it. He's frustrated. Despite doing the things that he felt like he needed to do, which involved considerable time and resources creating training videos for his team, his results kind of sucked. Engagement was low. People said his videos weren't very good, or even worse, they never said anything and he couldn't figure out why they weren't working. And he tried to share them with some friends and realized like the problem was he wasn't making videos in a way that was getting attention. So we connected through a friend. And I introduced him to the VFL approach and the VFL way. And after a conversation, we decided to work together. And what transpired from there is a pretty cool story about how I helped him go from figuring out how to set clear goals, which is step 1 we're talking about today, all the way down to video content that he uses and updates on a regular basis, giving him confidence and the ability to like reach and connect with his people, which I think is the best part. Now he makes a mix of marketing videos for his organization and training videos. So some of the stuff that I taught him applied to both, and other things were really focused on the training video. And I guess it starts with like, what does success look like? When I talked to Brian, I asked him, what is the number one thing that you want to accomplish? Like, what's your biggest pain point and what does your organization really need to make happen? And ultimately he was like, I'm just not reaching people. They're just not looking at the training as something that's valued. So what we did is we sat down and we talked about what those goals would look like. I wanted him to get specific instead of like vague objectives like I want people to like them, or I want to improve training, or I wanted to get something more specific out of him. I think where we ended up was sales team retention rates of new product features by 20% within 3 months. I had to look that up just to make sure I know what it was. And that kind of led us to the next piece of like, well, how are we going to measure that? Well, we decided to track the engagement and performance metrics by using quizzes at the end of each video, coupled with a quarterly performance review. And those two metrics enabled Brian to find out the results. And then we're like, okay, how will it be achievable? You see where I'm going with this? Given the resources and time available, we outlined a realistic production schedule that the team could commit to, like ensuring that each one of the videos he was making was high quality and produced so it was the most efficient and evergreen and easy to update if you needed to. Next, we made sure that they were relevant. Each video needed to be relevant to the sales team so that the product knowledge was up to date and directly connected to what they were doing in their job performance. Sometimes people were finding videos unrelatable to what they were doing because things had been changing. So that was a big one for Brian in that regard. And finally, we made sure that it was time bound. We set a timeline together to achieve these goals to make sure that we had a weekly check-in and milestones to ensure that we were on track. By the end of these 3 months that Brian spent trying to get these goals laid out and organizing his process, his retention rate on the sales team improved by 25%. They also reported feeling more confident and more prepared in their roles. Now, I realize this is a survey. I realize that feedback is easy to skew. However, the ultimate result for me was that Brian's story is a great example of clear goal setting. It transformed his approach to video production, leading to measurable improvements in both performance and overall business outcomes. The success was pretty damn cool. So Brian, if you're watching this, you're not really Brian. I'm done that to make it anonymous. But the cool part about it is that Brian used the SMART goal process that I have in the Video for Learning process in order to begin changing the way he makes training and learning content and even marketing content for his team. The purpose of this episode. Hey there, listeners. Welcome to the VFL Coach Podcast. I'm Chris Karel, your host of this show, and I am here to help you learn and understand about step 1 by introducing you to the 7-step process inside of the VFL course, which is setting clear goals. I'm going to highlight the benefits of setting a clear goal and having a well-defined goal, a SMART goal, if you will, that you can take today and improve your videos. If you've ever wondered how to improve or how to transform your business by using learning videos, training videos, or even marketing videos, then this episode is for you. Let's have some fun and let's learn some stuff. Here we go. Why goals matter. So setting clear goals for anything is critical in business. Setting clear goals for video production that focuses on measurable outcomes, especially if we're teaching people things, especially if we're instructing them how to do things, it's super important to use a structure. And the easiest one is what's called SMART goals. SMART goals is an acronym. The word SMART is an acronym. It stands for specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and time-bound. So let's get into it with Past Chris. Hey, how do you start making your own videos? A lot of people tell me they don't even know where to start. I'm uncomfortable on camera. I'm not exactly sure what to do, Chris. How do I get started? It starts between the ears. It starts with a 3-part mindset that I call the VFL Way, or the video for learning mindset. And that begins by embodying done is better than perfect. The second thing is meaning is more important than the visuals. And the third part is a process. That's the most complicated. You have to master it. It takes practice. But you start with done is better than perfect. Make it, delete it, make it, delete it, and you'll get better. Second, worry about what the meaning is. Your instructional video, your training video, your learning video needs to be about what's inside there. That needs to be solid, and people need that information. If they need it, visual quality won't matter. And then the process, the starting at step 1 and ending with step 7 and following a linear process full of checklists, templates, and formulas will get you great videos every single time. You can do it. That was awesome stuff about the VFL Way. Now I want to take you back to when I had a full goatee and some bad noise in the basement and share with you a little bit of what I call the KSB. KSB. Okay, chill out. I know. KSB is not the name of a car dealership, and it is certainly not the name of some hip-hop group that I adore. No, I'm talking KSB as in knowledge, skills, and behaviors. KSB is what I refer to as the fulfilled promise of learning video. See, I love video more than any other communication medium out there. I love it more than books. I love it more than talking. And I love talking a lot. But learning video teaches awareness so well that people quickly go from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence. In other words, learning video is awesome at making people aware of something that they didn't even know existed. But wait, there's more. Learning video, if carefully crafted, can change or create behaviors to help you reach competence, which is a fancy way of saying you learned something and now it's part of you. So, KSB, knowledge, skills, and behavior, the promise of learning video. Boom. So, I hope what you see in the 2 videos that I've shared with you in this lesson is that you need the VFL Way. You need to internalize done is better than perfect, meaning is more important than visuals, and you use a process to get there. Once you have the VFL Way, then you're ready to take KSB and make it work for you. Know that you're creating a video that will improve knowledge, skills, and behaviors of the people on the other side of the screen. Whew. Good old Chris still looks pretty dang good, doesn't he? Okay, so the 6 types of learning videos, that's what I want to talk about next in this segment about goal setting. Understanding the 6 types of learning videos is absolutely critical to understanding how to make a goal for your video you're going to make for your business, organization, or for yourself. Those 6 types of goals are lecture, screencast, micro videos, explainer videos, scenarios and simulations, and of course, the most popular that we go to on YouTube, how-to videos. I'd like to share my screen and sort of get into the most popular thing that I have on my website today, and that is this. is this blog post right? So in the 6 types of learning video, it comes from a chart I found way back when I started my business on the 5 genres of video. And they're called educational or instructional. Training video or learning video can be used interchangeably in this case. But the most important thing you need to know from a getting started standpoint and setting goals is what these 6 types are and how to utilize them. So we're going to talk about this educational genre, the training genre, the learning genre, and break down each one of them really quickly. So we're going to start with lecture video. So lecture video is like what I'm doing right now. I'm talking directly to the camera. I am the instructor leading the instruction of where we're going. Think of this as a webinar or presentation. These are super common to make. The cost to produce these is 0, as it is almost for me now, other than the price of the technology to make the content. And all it takes is a well-written script, the lesson that you're trying to make happen. At the most basic level, this is a single camera shoot where I'm just looking directly into the lens and I'm talking to you about a particular topic. Let's move on to video type number 2, screencast. So a screencast is also called a screen capture or a screen share. It's similar to what I'm doing right now, except notice there isn't any mouse movements or anything happening on the screen. In a screencast, you get to see the image of the screen that we're talking about, and then someone's mouse is moving over top of it, or there's overlays that are demonstrating what's happening on the screen to instruct the learner how to do something on that screen. It's really popular with software training. It's really popular with anything where you have to show somebody what something looks like on a web page or inside of a document. It's made by using a screen recording application. For example, Camtasia is the one that I like to use, but there are other popular ones like Screencast-O-Matic or ScreenFlow, and there are a number of AI tools that can really help with this nowadays as well. The cost to produce these is also very low. It just takes a little bit of knowledge as it relates to using that tool like a Camtasia. Next up, the number 3 type of video is the micro video. The micro video is the most common video that you'll see on social media. Micro videos are tiny, they're short, they're usually less than a minute. Think of a YouTube short or an Instagram reel or a TikTok video. They can range anywhere from 5 seconds up to like 3 minutes now, it seems like. However, micro means small, meaning they are tiny. Back in the day, they used to be things like Vines, which were even shorter. However, micro videos are incredibly popular for teaching people how to do things. You can see on my screen, I have a little formula that I've made to help people, and we'll get to these in step 2, writing the script. I have a formula for every one of these types of learning videos that will help you easily start from a place of, oh, this is how you structure it. This is how you make it. We start with a hook. We prep them for what they're going to learn. Then we give them the message, and then we review what we were learning, and then we hit them with what's next. That's the most common formula for micro videos or tiny little videos that help people learn things. These can range in price from 0 if you make them yourself for social media using your cell phone to extremely expensive commercials that help promote a product or help teach you how to do something related to a specific product. The purpose of these, as I just mentioned, is not only to sort of engage you around this content, but to teach you about a concept or give you some type of soft or hard skill training, or even motivate you to pay attention to something that's coming. The number 4 type of learning video is the explainer. The explainer is probably by far the most common video that exists in the marketing and training and learning world. The explainer video literally does what the name says it does. It explains a concept from start to finish. This is awesome for teaching product knowledge, for doing product demos. Often you'll see whiteboard videos where there's hand drawing on the screen, also a really common explainer, or animated icons. I will tell you that the majority of my online learning clients, my agency clients, they use explainers to teach all different types of concepts. So I guess the question is, how much do these cost to make? Well, these tend to be on the more expensive route. They take more time. There's usually some skill involved in writing a good script for an explainer, because if you don't and you just start talking, you ramble. And the explainer doesn't do a good job of explaining, it sort of just drones on. So there is a little bit more involved in producing an explainer. However, the impact is 10x what some of the other pieces may be, and they can be used in multiple places. So let's move on to the next one. All right, the next one we have is the scenario or simulation. So think of something that we need to show people how to do, sort of like a case study in video form. If it's a scenario, we're telling you a story about a situation in order so that people can learn about it. If it's a simulation video, like the image you see here, you're actually putting the learner or the viewer in the driver's seat. Usually these simulation videos are built into some type of learning tool so that the individual learner can then make decisions. However, it doesn't have to be that way. You can simulate or give a scenario for a situation so that people who are on the other side of the screen can figure out what this is like in a virtual environment. It sort of gives them the opportunity to see inside a day in the life of the individual who does that particular job or has to practice that particular skill. These are awesome ways to get people into the point of view of the expert or of the individual that you're trying to train or teach. So these are great for soft skill training. They're great for customer service. These can be incredibly expensive. I would say scenario and simulation videos tend to be the most expensive to produce. However, they can be incredibly powerful if done properly. And all the large companies and organizations use scenario and simulations to help their people understand how to do certain things. Okay, the sixth and final type of learning video is the how-to video. The how-to video, also called a tutorial or a safety video, these are exactly what the name says. The how-to video shows you how to do something. It's usually very linear, it's step-by-step. It teaches you how to conduct a process or how to handle a situation. On the most basic end, can be made with a point and shoot or a mobile phone camera. Very easy to pull off as long as you have some type of sequence to the way you're doing it, as long as you're following to some type of script. So using a how-to video becomes incredibly powerful to show people linear step-by-step processes in video form. Okay, now that we've talked about the 6 types of learning videos, it's important to make sure that we understand that clear goals for those video projects are the most important thing you need to start with before you draft a script for any one of those 6 types. However, knowing what those 6 types of learning videos are will help you when you go to set your goals. So there are 2 different ways you could go about setting your goals. You can follow a step-by-step guide. For example, you can define your objectives by clearly stating what you want to achieve in your learning videos. Then you can ensure that they are specific by being precise about what you're trying to accomplish. And then you can make them measurable by determining how you will measure success. Like, how are you going to figure out whether this video is successful or not? Then you want to check and see if it's achievable. Set realistic goals that are attainable, and then ensure that they're relevant. Align those goals with your overall business objectives. Never lose sight of the fact that you're making a video that's for a business or an organization. And then you want to make sure that it's time bound. There's a time frame for it, which there's a timeline for achieving your goals and for helping make sure that it works. Or you can simplify this whole concept of goal setting, and especially the concept of making SMART goals, and you can use a tool. So I have reviewed 2 different tools that I've used for SMART goal generators. You should just pick one and use it. Make your life easy peasy lemon squeezy. I will insert the videos into here and you can check them out at your leisure. If you're failing, or if you're struggling, or if you're finding like, dang man, I'm having a hard time making video, go over to learningcarton.com and learn more about my services and connect with me. I offer a free 30-minute discovery call with anybody who wants it so we can talk about your video production needs and see how I or my team can help you. Or perhaps I can help you directly by just giving you a few consulting sessions. Simple. Or I can make them for you. All right, the plug is over. Let's get back to it. Okay. Hey, listeners, it's time for a quick recap of today's episode on setting clear goals for your videos. Setting clear goals is important for providing direction and focus for your learning videos. I recommend learning how to use SMART goals in your planning. Make sure that they're specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Next, you'll succeed if you understand and use the VFL way. Remember that done is better than perfect, meaning over visuals, and use a process. And the goals are easier if you're familiar with the 6 types of learning videos that help the audience: the lecture video, the screencast video, the how-to video, the explainer, and the micro, the scenario/simulation. If you know those 6 things, you will be a much better video creator. Finally, you'll avoid issues with your videos if you can align with the overall business goals and the overall objectives of your organization or your client's organization. Thank you for tuning in to the Video for Learning Coach podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, and follow. Share the podcast with somebody who you think may benefit from learning about VFL and AI integration. Share it with somebody who you think may benefit from talking to me about how to improve their video processes within their organization or within their own skill set. I'll see you next time. Peace.